Ivan accidentally overheard a conversation between his mother-in-law and his wife, and he wanted to run away from this apartment. Lyeska, will you and Vanya file for divorce soon? The mother was chewing something and talking. As soon as Gina gives the signal, I'll tell my husband. What a good idea you and Gina came up with when Vanya's 2-room apartment was replaced with a 3-room one, and he borrowed money from his uncle for this in order to pay extra. What a simpleton! I promised Gennady that I would give birth to his child when we had normal housing. Gina loves you, daughter. That's why he agreed to everything. But in the event of a divorce, you will get half of the apartment in cash and Gina will marry you. What Vanya heard was enough, and he left the apartment. Something had to be decided to prevent this, and he went to his uncle, and he told him everything. Yes, there are all kinds of women, Vanya. You then fell so in love with your classmate Ludmila, and I believed that it was mutual. I helped you with both the wedding and the apartment. Let's have dinner with you, and then we'll think about what we can do. Vladimir took Vanya from his sister when the guy graduated from school. That's when Vladimir bought Vanya a small apartment. The metro is nearby. The route to the institute where Vanya already studied is without transfers. After receiving his diploma, Vanya worked as an assistant for his uncle. After dinner, Vladimir outlined his plan. Call your wife and tell him that I sent you on a business trip for a week. Live while we have this time. There is an option, but not a quick one. Ivan did just that. Ludmila was not surprised. This is not the first time her husband has gone on a business trip. She would have invited Gina to her place for the night, but she was afraid that their plan would collapse. Luda, Gina and Vanya studied in the same course. Ludaka then fell in love with Gina. They met in Ludmila's 1-room apartment when her mother was at work. Gina was a newcomer, but lived with his aunt, but not luxuriously, as he wanted. He lived in the same room with his aunt's son. There was no free space in this apartment. The cunning Gina came up with an insidious plan with Ivan's apartment. And Vanya himself is to blame. When in his last year he told Ludmila, whom he really liked, that in the future he would work for his uncle, and he would help him improve his living conditions. The girl conveyed all this to Jean. He invited Ludmila to marry Vanya only temporarily. Vanya returned home 2 weeks later. During this time, his uncle was able to buy a house in the same cottage community. For Ivan it was a royal gift. He immediately told his wife the news. Imagine, Ludaka, while I was not in Moscow, Uncle Volodya bought us a house. Only for now he has formalized it and registered it in his name. We can move into this house tomorrow, and our apartment needs to be put up for sale. At least some of the money should be returned to my uncle. The house is much more expensive. Vanechka, your uncle is just a goldfish, fulfilling wishes. I always wanted to have a house in the Moscow region. We will have children, and imagine what freedom they will have on the lawn. And she, happy, hugged her husband. While Vanya was taking a shower, Ludmila called Gina. When he heard this news, he was even happy. Go for it, Ludak. After the divorce, you will get half the money. I don't know how much that house costs, but we can definitely buy an apartment. Ludmila and Ivan moved into the house. She immediately began to restore order inside and outside. Ivan grinned, realizing that his Ludaka would not receive anything. After selling the apartment, the couple transferred the entire amount to Vladimir's account. This was the condition, and Luda agreed, looking forward to a future with Gennady. After the deal, Vanya said, "Sorry, wife, but I need to go to work. Go home by public transport." Why, Vanya? Didn't your uncle give you a day off? This event should be celebrated. Check with him when he will transfer the house to us. I'll definitely find out. Ludaka. And the husband left for work. He already knew that they had changed the locks on the doors of the house and on the gate. Ludmila's things were taken to the station and put into a storage room while the couple were away. Ludmila approached the gate. She could not enter the yard. Trying to unlock the gate with the key, she called Vanya. Luda, you don't live there anymore. Let your Gina, whom you love so much, take care of your little piece of paradise. Pick up your things at the station. If it's difficult to cope alone, Gina will help. Calling the number in code. Vanya turned off the phone. Ivan and Ludmila will be divorced without his presence, and he didn't want to meet with her anymore. Veniamin, having learned that his plan had failed, broke up with Ludmila, calling her a loser. Luda's mother burst into tears. You yourself, daughter, are to blame for everything. Vanya is so wonderful, and Gina, ugh. Now go look for another promising husband. Although the mother supported her daughter then. I don't want to, Mom. I still love Gina. Not right away, but Vanya's uncle introduced him to a good girl. They dated for a while and then got married. Now their 2 sons are running around the lawn of Vanya's house. The uncle registered the house for his nephew before the wedding. Thank you for being with us. Give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and you will be the first to listen to another new story.